Right away, these answer choices tell me that I'm probably testing the Appositives rule. So if you don't know what that word is, that's okay. This is a rule. I do have a separate lesson specifically about how this rule works, but basically this is when we use a description to usually talk about another person in a new way, either talking about their title or what they've done. And a lot of times when we write with these with our own essays, we use appositives with 2 commas. We have to be careful. A lot of times in the SAT, we don't use any commas at all. So what really matters is the order of the thing that we're talking about and the description of that thing. So let me just go right into the sentences here. A recent study tracked the number of bee species present in 27 New York apple orchards over a 10-year period. Sentence doesn't matter. Not about the punctuation of that sentence because that sentence is over. So let's keep going. Entomologist Heather Grab found that when wild growth near an orchard was cleared, the number of different bee species visiting the orchard decreased. So there's some weird stuff here, right? We have a colon in choice A. That's definitely wrong because remember, in order to use a colon, we need to have a complete sentence before the colon. If we don't have that, we're no good. And so someone's name is not a sentence. That's not going to work. So the real choice to me is really between B and C because that's what most people are going to gravitate towards. And a lot of you are going to pick B because you think that that's what we need to do when we have like the person's name and the person. But not in this case. This is a trap. The reason is that when we have the what I call the term and the definition. So the term is the person here. That's the thing. And we are defining Heather Grab as an entomologist. So when the definition comes before the term, we don't usually want commas. Unless the definition is very, very, very long, we want to keep it without any commas. So choice C is the answer here. It's almost like if her name were like think about your people in your family, like Uncle Bob, right? Uncle Bob found that when wild growth near an orchard was cleared, the number of different bee species visiting the orchard decreased. So Uncle's just kind of part of his name. And so that's kind of what's happening here is the title is basically part of Heather's name. And so we don't need any comma to separate her out. We're talking about her. The title is kind of just who she is. So we don't need any commas. But the general rule for appositives on the SAT is exactly what I said. If the definition comes before the term, right? The thing we're talking about here is Heather. That's the term. And her definition is that she is an entomologist. If the definition comes first, then we want no commas. But if the definition comes second, if it's the term and then the definition, that might be a case where we do want commas. So if it said, Heather Grab, comma, an entomologist, forgive my handwriting, then we would say found that blah, 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 right? So this is a case where we would use the 2 commas because we're kind of interrupting our thought to give the definition. So that's how you usually write appositives, but when the SAT gives them to us, they know that you write them that way, so they're going to vary it up a lot more, and it is acceptable in both ways. It just depends. So you've got to pay attention to the order of things, and so like I said, and you need to watch my video on this if you don't know what I'm talking about, if the definition comes first, no commas. If the definition comes second, we probably do want those commas.